Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. Now before you scroll, before you swipe, before you go back to whatever else was on your feed, I need you to answer one question for me honestly. What if I told you that the biggest rap moment of the last 10 years is not going to happen on a diss track, not on a mixtape, not in a courtroom, not on a podcast, but on a single Friday night in October, inside a stadium in Inglewood, on a stage that already knows the name of the man who is about to walk across it? Would you believe me? Would you sit with me for the next few minutes while I show you the receipts? Because that is exactly where we are right now. And if you have been treating October 23rd, 2026 as just another concert date, I promise you by the time we finish, you are going to see it the way the industry sees it. As the night the argument ends. Listen carefully. I have been watching this Kendrick Lamar and Drake situation since the first shot got fired. And I am telling you, what is being set up at SoFi Stadium on October 23rd is not a show. It is a sentence. It is the last line of a 2-year novel that the culture has been. This man just finished 3 consecutive sold-out evenings at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx to celebrate 3 decades, since Reasonable Doubt dropped in June of 1996. 3 nights. In his own backyard. And he did not treat it like a museum piece. He treated it like a coronation. Let me paint the picture for the friends just tuning in because you have to see the room before you can smell the smoke. Across those 3 New York nights, Jay brought out Beyoncé, Blue Ivy. It is the exact same stadium where Kendrick Lamar 6 months earlier on May 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of this year, sold out 3 consecutive nights on the Grand National Tour with SZA, moved 147,000 tickets, and grossed over $40.5 million in a single weekend, setting the all-time record for the highest grossing box score by any rapper in the history of that venue. Read that back to yourself. Jay-Z, a New York rapper doing a New York anniversary show, chose to book the exact stadium that Kendrick Lamar just moved into. That is not accidental. That is not a booking department accident. That is not a random calendar hole. That is a message. And I mean that with my whole chest. Because when a man of Jay-Z's stature walks into the house that another rapper just built the record inside of, he is not there to sightsee. He is there to shake hands with the new owner. In public. On camera. In front of the Ticketmaster. Can I be real with you for a second? Because this next part matters. Everybody in the OVO fanbase has been running around the internet framing this LA date as a victory lap. A victory lap. I have heard it 1,000 times in the last 4 weeks. It is a victory lap. It is just a nostalgia tour. It is a legacy show. Cool. Fine. Except a victory lap does not need to happen the week before Halloween. At the exact same stadium a different rapper just used to break the all-time box score record for a rap tour. In the exact same city where the last chapter of the biggest rap battle of the modern era got broadcast to 130 million people via the Super Bowl halftime show earlier this year. That is not coincidence. That is a construction site with a blueprint. And the man holding the blueprint is Sean Carter, and the foreman on the site is Roc Nation. There are 2 timelines running right now, and I need you to see them both side by side, because they are about to collide on October 23rd. The first timeline is the one you have been watching on Instagram. The one with the meme accounts, the reaction videos, the highlight reels, the comment section wars. That is the surface timeline. The second timeline is the one that has been silently determining the outcome of the first one. That is the business timeline. And the business timeline is the one that actually decides who walks out on that stage. When those 2 timelines meet, and they are about to meet, the surface timeline is going to look like a movie, and the business timeline is going to look like the script that movie was based on. Let me back up and set the table properly because there is a lot of context you need before we go deeper. In 2024, Kendrick Lamar and Aubrey Drake Graham, better known simply as Drake, spent an entire calendar year in the biggest rap war of the modern era. A war that ended, effectively, with a record called Not Like Us becoming the most inescapable rap song of the decade. 5 Grammy wins for Kendrick. A headlining Super Bowl 59 halftime show in February of this year, produced by Roc Nation. And a tour, the Grand National Tour with SZA, that broke the all-time record for the highest grossing box score by a rapper at SoFi Stadium. Then Drake dropped Iceman earlier this year, and inside that project he took a shot at Jay-Z with the now infamous Jig Is Up line, took additional shots at Kendrick across multiple records, and basically threw a punch at the entire pantheon. A couple weeks ago, at the Roots picnic in Philadelphia, Jay-Z stepped on stage and freestyled a direct response. Pharrell hit the stage in New York, looked into the camera, and said the words that have been echoing across the internet ever since. They poked the bear, and then the bear cut his hair, and now he got on his helmet. I need you to sit with that line for a second. They poked the bear, and then the bear cut his hair, and now he got on his helmet. Read it slow. Because that is not the language of a legacy tour. That is not the language of a nostalgia show. That is the language of a man who has been briefed on what is coming next. Pharrell Williams is not a random hype man. Pharrell has been in business with Jay-Z going back to In My Lifetime Volume 1. This is a Louis v. Jay-Z at 56 years old is not freestyling responses to Drake at a picnic in Philadelphia for fun. That is a man in a fighting mood. And a man in a fighting mood does not fly to Los Angeles and leave his heaviest available cosign on the shelf. Piece number 4. Pharrell Williams on stage at Yankee Stadium during one of the 3 New York nights delivered the Poke the Bear line to a stadium of 70,000 people with cameras rolling. That clip has been posted, reposted, screen recorded, and turned into a meme across every platform. Kendrick clears that bar with ease. And piece number 8. The one that closes the surface case. The Super Bowl. Jay-Z, through Roc Nation, personally selected Kendrick Lamar as the headliner for the Super Bowl 59 halftime show in February of this year. That was the moment the torch got extended in front of 130 million viewers. You do not extend the torch on the biggest stage in television and then decline to close the loop when you happen to be in the winner's building 6 months later. That does not track. It has never tracked. And that is the surface case. And I am telling you right now, the surface case is not even the strongest part of this argument. Because the surface case is what everybody can see. Wait until I show you what is underneath it. Because oh my friends, do I have more. Sit up in your chair for this next part. Because if you thought what I just laid out was the full case, you have not heard the actual case yet. The OVO comment section is not going to enjoy this middle stretch of the video. Some of y'all are gonna hate me for what I am about to say, but I have to say it because we are past the point where we can pretend the evidence is not right in front of us. I am about to walk you through the cultural layer, the receipts from inside the room, the reactions from the people orbiting these artists, the deleted posts, the freestyle bars, the podcast clips, the concert moments. And by the time I am done, the only remaining argument for why Kendrick Lamar is not walking out at SoFi Stadium on October 23rd is going to be, I hope he doesn't. Which is not an argument. That is a prayer. Cultural piece number 1, Pharrell's full statement. It was not just ready for war. He said, and I am quoting the Instagram reel from that night, they poked the bear and then the bear cut his hair and now he got on his helmet. And I hope you're ready. Read that back to yourself. Now imagine the exact scene. 70,000 people. Fitted caps. Rockefeller chains. A camera crane sweeping across the stadium floor. And Pharrell standing there delivering. Kendrick has been publicly reported at multiple industry events, including sightings at NBA All-Star adjacent events, at Fanatics-affiliated appearances in New York studios, and adjacent to Roc Nation-affiliated rooms. A man that public, moving in those specific rooms, in that specific window, is not disconnected from the machine that just produced Yankee Stadium. Cultural piece number 6, the Pharrell footage. Every angle of that stage moment has been posted. The bear metaphor has already been picked up by cultural podcasts including No Filter, Complex's Everyday Struggle, and multiple industry-adjacent commentators. When a metaphor gets picked up by that many independent outlets that fast, it means the metaphor is not an accident. It was seeded intentionally, and it is being amplified intentionally, which means somebody wanted to build up to a payoff. And payoffs are what stadium shows are built for. Cultural piece number 7, the West Coast dimension. And this one is important. Roc Nation has been quietly building out its West Coast infrastructure for years. Kendrick, though signed to PG Lang and Interscope structurally, moved through the same halftime show that Roc Nation produced. And the West Coast legends who could theoretically appear that night, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, potentially Too Short, potentially Ice Cube, all sit inside a network Jay has direct working relationships with. The stage is not just prepared for Kendrick. The stage is prepared for a West Coast summit that would functionally reintroduce Jay-Z into the LA rap conversation on his own terms. And I want to be fair here. I really do. Because I have heard the counterargument, and I am not going to pretend it does not exist. The counterargument, which some of you are typing right now in the comments even as I am recording this, is that Jay-Z does not need to bring anybody out. That reasonable doubt is a show. That the guests are a distraction. That the anniversary is about the album, not about the beef. And you know what? Fair. That is a fair argument in a vacuum. But that argument dies the moment you look at what Jay-Z actually did in New York. He brought out 20+ artists across 3 nights. He did not treat the anniversary like a museum piece. He treated it like a coronation. And you do not run a 3-city coronation and then arrive in Los Angeles and suddenly get shy about the guest list. That argument does not survive contact with the New York precedent. Which brings us to the moment where this stops being about a concert. Because here is where the whole conversation changes gears. And I need you to stay with me because this is the section that separates the people who understand what is actually happening in hip-hop right now from the people who are still reading the headlines. Everything I have shown you so far, the freestyle, the guest list, the Pharrell speech, the SoFi Stadium venue selection, the Drake reaction, All of it lives on the surface layer of this story. The layer underneath, the layer that actually determines whether October 23rd happens the way I am telling you it is going to happen, is the business layer. And when you understand the business layer, this stops looking like a rap beef and starts looking like a manufactured, engineered, systemically produced repositioning of the entire top of the hip-hop pyramid. Let me walk you through it. 3 angles. Stay with me. Angle 1, the venue economics. SoFi Stadium is not just a large stadium. SoFi is an NFL-owned, Kroenke-operated, Live Nation-affiliated asset that has become the single most important large-scale music venue in the Western United States. Every artist who plays SoFi is participating in a specific ecosystem that includes Ticketmaster, Live Nation, and the touring economics that Roc Nation, as a management and touring entity, has direct financial exposure to. When Jay-Z picks SoFi over Dodger Stadium, he is not making an aesthetic decision. He is making a business decision that puts his run inside the same ecosystem that just processed Kendrick's $40.5 million record-breaking 3-night stand. That decision is a signal to every industry insider watching. The venue overlap is the deal being announced without anyone having to say the word deal. Angle 2, the Super Bowl pipeline. Roc Nation's contract with the NFL to produce the Super Bowl halftime show is a multi-year arrangement, and the selection of Kendrick Lamar for the LAX halftime in February 2026 was, according to multiple reports from Billboard, Variety, and the industry newsletter Hits Daily Double, a decision that ran through Jay-Z personally. That is not a favor. That is a business alignment. When Roc Nation selects an artist for the biggest television broadcast of the year, it is because that artist's trajectory, cultural momentum, and public alignment fits Roc Nation's positioning strategy. Bad Bunny was picked for LX in 2027. Kendrick was picked for LIX in 2026. Those are strategic picks, which means Kendrick, whether he is signed to Roc Nation officially or not, is inside the Roc Nation strategic universe. And when an artist is inside your strategic universe and you are doing a legacy tour, you close the loop by bringing that artist on stage in the market where their industry position is strongest. That market is Los Angeles. That stage is SoFi. And that show is October 23rd. Angle 3, the media narrative war. And this is the part nobody wants to talk about. And it is the most important part. Since 2024, there has been an ongoing narrative war between the pro-Drake media ecosystem, DJ Academics, Mal from the New Rory and Mal podcast, and various affiliated commentators, and the pro-Kendrick, pro-Jay-Z ecosystem. The talking points from the OVO aligned side have shifted over time. First, it was that Kendrick could not sell arenas. Kendrick sold out SoFi 3 nights and broke the record. Then it was that Kendrick could not do TV. Kendrick did the Super Bowl, and it became the most watched halftime show in television history. Then it was that Kendrick was just being used as a pawn by Jay-Z, who supposedly had his own agenda. And that is the last stone in the OVO fortress. That is the last piece of the wall standing. That pawn narrative is holding the whole thing up. Everything else has already crumbled. And the second Jay-Z brings Kendrick out at SoFi, that last stone falls, and the whole fortress comes down at once. Because think about it. The pawn narrative requires Kendrick to be a subordinate figure being used by a bigger figure. But if Jay-Z brings him out in Kendrick's own house in the stadium Kendrick just broke the record in, and shares the moment with him publicly, the visual language of that moment does not read as a bigger figure using a smaller figure. It reads as a summit. It reads as 2 of the biggest figures in the culture aligning voluntarily in the marketplace where the newer figure is objectively winning. And that visual language is exactly what shuts down the OVO media apparatus in one gesture. Which means the show on October 23rd is not just a concert. It is the deliberate, engineered, business-motivated final blow of a narrative war that has been running for 2 straight years. This is why I keep telling you the OVO comment section is not ready. They think they are arguing about a rap beef. They are actually arguing against a fully coordinated 3-front campaign involving live touring economics, the Super Bowl pipeline, and the cultural media apparatus. And every front has already been won by the other side. And here is the truth bomb. The reveal. The thing I have been building to across this entire video. And I want you to sit with this one, because this is the piece that recontextualizes the entire 2-year story. Kendrick Lamar walking out at SoFi Stadium on October 23rd is not the climax of this story. It is the confirmation of an alignment that has functionally already existed for over a year. That has been operating in plain sight. And that the OVO camp and its affiliated media ecosystem have been in denial about, because acknowledging it means acknowledging that the war was already lost. Let me say that again, because I want it to land. The alignment between Jay-Z, Roc Nation, Kendrick Lamar, Pharrell Williams, and the broader West Coast legacy apparatus is not something that is going to happen on October 23rd. It already happened. October 23rd is just the day the general public gets to see the paperwork. The Super Bowl halftime show was the announcement. The narrative dies. And the reason the OVO media apparatus has been so aggressive over the last 4 weeks, the reason DJ Academics has been so loud, the reason the deflection posts have been so frequent, the reason the he's just a pawn narrative has been resurrected so many times, is because that camp already knows what October 23rd is. They know. They have known for months. Everyone with sources inside the touring industry has known since the LA date was announced. The panic you have been watching on their side is not preemptive panic. It is grief. It is the grieving of a position they already understand has been lost. And when the actual moment happens, when Jay-Z stands on that stage and brings Kendrick out and shares a bar with him in the building Kendrick just broke the record in, the grief is going to convert into something uglier. It is going to convert into a coordinated attempt to reframe the moment in real time. The they had to team up to beat him narrative. The old heads coming out of retirement narrative. The manufactured moment narrative. All of it is coming, and none of it is going to work. Because you cannot reframe a summit as a takedown. And you cannot reframe a torch pass as a conspiracy. Just does not work. Between me and you, I have been watching this culture for a long time. And there is a very simple truth underneath all of this noise. Past the beef. Past the numbers. Past the media narratives. Past the manufactured comment section wars. There is a very old truth that this entire 2-year cycle has been quietly confirming. The person who does every single job at 100%. The person who shows up disciplined, prepared, and consistent. The person who takes every stage seriously and treats every album like it is the only thing that matters. That person wins every time. Kendrick Lamar has been that person for over a decade. He has released classic album after classic album. He toured the world at record-breaking numbers. He accepted the Super Bowl halftime show and delivered the most watched performance in the history of the broadcast. He broke the SoFi Stadium box office record. He collected his Grammys. He did all of this without picking fights on Instagram Live, without needing to defend himself in group chats, without needing to like or unlike social media posts, without needing to make embarrassing appearances on comment threads to reframe losses as wins. He just kept working. And that is the version of Kendrick that Jay-Z is aligning with. That is the version that Pharrell is protecting. That is the version that the Super Bowl selected, that SoFi Stadium bowed to, that Yankee Stadium's guest list will pass the torch to on October 23rd. One person makes music that provokes lawsuits and comment section wars. The other person makes music that sells out stadiums 3 nights in a row and gets picked to headline the Super Bowl. That is not a beef. That is the scoreboard. And the scoreboard was not manufactured by Jay-Z. It was not manufactured by Pharrell. It was not manufactured by Roc Nation. It was manufactured by Kendrick Lamar showing up again and again and again and doing the work at a level that made him structurally impossible to deny. Every prediction I have made on this channel across the last 2 years about where this ends has landed exactly where I told you it would land. I said Kendrick would take the Super Bowl. He did. I said the tour would break records. It did. I said Drake's Response album would create more problems than it solved. It did. And now I am telling you October 23rd is the closing chapter. And I promise you, when we look back at this year in 5 years, this is the moment the culture will point to as the day the argument officially ended. And it ended clean. It ended without insults from the winning side. It ended without lawsuits from the winning side. It ended without press releases. It ended the way it started. With the man who does the work walking out on the stage the work built. That is the ending. And it is the correct ending. And every person watching this video who has stayed loyal to the version of the story that respects the work is going to feel vindicated on that night. Because you have been right the whole time. Trust the receipts. Trust the scoreboard. Trust what your eyes have been showing you for 2 years straight. But do not think for even 1 second that this is the end of the story. Because it is not. And I want to leave you with a very specific preview of what is coming next. Because there are at least 2 more shoes still hanging in midair right now that are going to drop between October 23rd and the end of the year. Number 1. The album. Kendrick Lamar has been publicly rumored, through multiple industry-adjacent reports and social media hints, to be preparing a follow-up project to GNX. And the timing of that project relative to the SoFi Stadium moment is going to matter enormously. If that album gets announced on stage that night, or in the days immediately following, we are looking at one of the most strategically timed rollouts in modern hip-hop history. A rollout so precise it makes previous rollouts look amateur. Number 2. The Drake response cycle. Drake, historically, does not accept losses quietly. If October 23rd unfolds the way I am telling you it is going to unfold, the response cycle from the OVO camp is going to escalate. Expect diss records. Expect social media theatrics. Expect podcast appearances. Expect narrative resets. All of it is coming. And it is all going to fail against the same immovable object it has been failing against for 2 years. A scoreboard. So here is what I need from you, my friends. If you are not subscribed to this channel yet, hit that subscribe button right now, because when October 23rd happens, and it happens the way I am telling you it is going to happen, you are going to want to be back here for the breakdown. Hit that like button. Drop your comment. Tell me if you think Kendrick is walking out on October 23rd. Tell me if you think I am reading this wrong. Tell me who else might walk out. Dr. Dre? Snoop? Nipsey's spirit? Y'all know what I mean. And listen, the next video I am dropping on this channel is the one you cannot afford to miss. It is called Why Drake's Iceman album is already being quietly buried by his own label. And I am going to walk you through the streaming data, the label politics, the promotional pullback, and the specific business decision that got made in a room Drake was not invited to, that is about to change everything about the next phase of his career. That video is coming this week. Stay ready, because the story is not over. It is just entering its final act, and the stage is already built. The lights are already hung. The city is already in position. And on October 23rd, the man who does the work is going to walk across that stage, and the culture is going to nod, and the argument is going to end. Not with a shout, not with a lawsuit, with a walk, a single walk, from the wings to the microphone, in the house that he built, in the city that raised him, on a night that will be quoted for a decade. Stay watching, stay listening, stay loyal to the receipts. I will see you back here after the show. Peace.